Imagine waking up each morning not just feeling younger, but actually being biologically younger than your calendar says you should be. Scientists have long searched for the fountain of youth, but the answer might not lie in a lab-made pill or a high-tech device. It could be sitting quietly in your pantry, nestled in a handful of nuts, a square of dark chocolate, or even a humble oyster. A major new study has uncovered a surprising connection between a little-known mineral we all need and the very pace at which our bodies age. And the twist? Most people are not getting enough of it, not because it is rare, but because the foods that contain it are often out of reach for those who need them most. This mineral is copper. Not the kind used in wiring or pennies, but the essential trace element that quietly powers dozens of critical processes inside every human cell. Without it, the body cannot properly produce energy, form connective tissue, or, most importantly for aging, defend itself against the invisible wear and tear caused by daily living. Think of copper as the unsung hero of your internal antioxidant army. It fuels a powerful enzyme that neutralizes dangerous molecules called free radicals, which accumulate as we breathe, eat, and simply exist. Left unchecked, these molecules damage DNA, proteins, and cell membranes, accelerating the aging process and paving the way for chronic diseases. In fact, this copper-dependent enzyme is so effective that in certain biochemical tests, it outperforms even the well-known antioxidants like vitamin C and vitamin E. The new research, drawn from a massive survey of health and dietary habits across the United States, reveals something remarkable. People who consume more copper through their food tend to have a biological age significantly younger than their actual years. Biological age is not about wrinkles or gray hair. It is measured through sophisticated markers in the blood and DNA that reflect how well your cells are functioning. Two people can be the same chronological age, yet one might have the cellular health of someone a decade younger. And copper appears to be one of the quiet levers that can tilt the scale in your favor. But here is where it gets even more fascinating. The benefit does not keep climbing forever. There seems to be a sweet spot, a point where adding more copper to the diet no longer speeds up the anti-aging effect. This suggests the body only needs a modest, consistent supply to unlock its full protective potential. Going beyond that does not hurt, but it also does not help much more. This is not about megadosing or popping supplements. It is about balance, about weaving the right foods into everyday meals in a sustainable way. So what foods are we talking about? Oysters top the list, packed with copper and other vital nutrients, but they are not exactly a weekly staple for most households. Dark cocoa powder, the kind used in baking or rich hot chocolate, is another powerhouse. Pecans, cashews, sunflower seeds, lentils, and whole grains also contribute meaningful amounts. These are not exotic superfoods from distant lands, they are familiar ingredients. Yet their cost and availability create a hidden barrier. The study found a clear pattern: people with higher incomes, more education, and greater access to fresh, varied groceries were more likely to hit that optimal copper intake. Meanwhile, those struggling financially often missed out, not because they did not care about health, but because the most copper-rich options tend to be more expensive or less available in under-resourced neighborhoods. This turns a simple mineral into a mirror reflecting deeper inequalities in the food system. The story deepens when we look at who benefits most. The anti-aging effect of copper was strongest in people carrying less body weight, suggesting that metabolic health plays a role in how the body uses this mineral. On the flip side, those managing high blood pressure saw a much weaker benefit. This does not mean copper is useless for them. It may simply mean their bodies are under different kinds of stress, or that other factors are masking its effects. It underscores a key truth in nutrition science: no single nutrient works in isolation. Copper does not operate like a magic bullet fired into the bloodstream. It works in concert with other compounds, especially those found in plant-rich diets. Researchers suspect it may team up with polyphenol, natural compounds abundant in berries, olive oil, red wine, and leafy greens, to dial down inflammation, one of the main drivers of aging. Chronic, low-grade inflammation is like a smoldering fire inside the body, silently damaging tissues over time. Copper appears to help douse those flames, particularly by interfering with a key inflammatory switch known as NF-kappa B. When this pathway is overactive, it fuels everything from arthritis to heart disease to cognitive decline. By helping to keep it in check, copper may be quietly preserving the body's resilience. Of course, more is not always better. The body needs just the right amount. Too little, and antioxidant defenses falter. Too much, especially from supplements rather than food, and copper can build up in the liver, causing toxicity. This is why experts emphasize getting copper from whole foods, where it comes packaged with fiber, healthy fats, and other nutrients that help the body absorb and use it wisely. The ideal daily intake sits comfortably above the bare minimum needed to prevent deficiency but well below the danger zone. For most people, that means a varied diet rich in plants, nuts, seeds, and occasional seafood can easily hit the mark, without any pills or powders. What makes this discovery so powerful is its simplicity. In a world flooded with anti-aging creams, expensive supplements, and futuristic longevity clinics, the message is refreshingly grounded: eat real food, eat a variety of it, and pay attention to the small things that big science often overlooks. Copper has been in our diets for millennia, yet modern eating patterns, high in processed foods, low in whole ingredients, have quietly stripped it away. Refined grains lose most of their copper during milling. Sugary snacks offer empty calories with none of the trace minerals our cells crave. Even drinking water from copper pipes, once a minor source, has diminished as plumbing materials have changed. This research also challenges the way we think about aging itself. Instead of seeing it as an inevitable countdown, science is increasingly framing it as a malleable process, one that can be influenced by daily choices. Nutrition is not just about preventing disease, it is about optimizing function, preserving vitality, and extending health span, not just lifespan. Copper is one thread in a much larger tapestry of dietary factors that shape how we grow older. It works alongside zinc, selenium, magnesium, and a host of phytonutrients in a delicate biochemical dance. Disrupt one piece, and the whole system can wobble. The takeaway is not to obsess over one mineral, but to recognize that the foods that contain it are already part of the healthiest dietary patterns known to science: the Mediterranean diet, the DASH diet, plant-forward eating. These approaches naturally deliver copper along with a symphony of other protective compounds. They are also more accessible than ever, if supported by policies that make fresh, whole foods affordable and available to everyone, regardless of zip code or income. In the end, the story of copper and aging is a reminder that the secrets to a longer, healthier life may not lie in the future, but in returning to the wisdom of whole, unprocessed foods, foods that nourish not just the body, but the very essence of our cellular being. And perhaps, just perhaps, the next time you sprinkle cocoa on your oatmeal or toss pecans into a salad, you are not just feeding yourself. You are gently turning back the clock, one bite at a time. If this deep dive into copper and aging opened your eyes, you're not alone. It's wild to think that something so small, hidden in everyday foods, could play a role in how we age. If you found this helpful, give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a science-backed insight that actually makes sense. Drop a comment below. What's one copper-rich food you're adding to your plate this week? And remember, the path to lasting health isn't always flashy. Sometimes, it's as simple as what's already in your kitchen. Thanks for watching.